Welcome to the Rotary Times Show, a public service program presented by Rotary District 7610, Virginia. On our programs, we talk with Rotarians and community leaders and discuss how Rotary International builds partnerships to support local, national, and world communities. I'm your host, Rotarian Dr. Deborah Jackson from the Rotary Club of McLean, Virginia. The success of a Rotary Club is dependent on the club president. They lead, inspire, motivate, and connect their clubs with communities either locally or around the world. Joining me remotely is Rotarian Richard Luttrell from the Haymarket Gainseviille Rotary Club for the year 2023-24. Welcome, President Rich, to the Rotary Times Show.
Deborah, thanks for your welcome. It's a pleasure to be here today.
Yeah, I'm glad you could be here today. I know the holidays are busy, a busy time, and you took the time to say yes and join us, so I'm very much appreciative of that. Let's start out by talking about Rich. Tell us about your background and your life before Rotary.
Well, I've had a few years of life before Rotary, been blessed with that, but I'm a native Virginian. I was born in Radford, Virginia, in Southwest Virginia, when my late father, was finishing at Virginia Tech. He had been in the Navy prior to that. And then lived in Blacksburg and Cleveland as an infant. Don't really recall that, but in 1960, we moved to Arlington and then onwards westward to Fairfax a little bit in Fairfax County. And that's where I grew up until I went away to college.
Okay, all righty. And how did you get involved in Rotary, and specifically the Rotary Club of Gainseviille-Haymarket?
Well, very specifically, it's interesting. I actually worked at a banking company with Amelia Stansel. And Amelia is our upcoming governor. And she was involved in the Gainseviille-Haymarket Rotary Club. But then her position changed. She moved out to Warrenton. She became involved with the Warrenton Club. And I think she had related very great experiences there. I heard about her involvement there. So since she had exited the club at Gainesville and moved on to Warrenton, I decided to get on board, if I could, with the Gainseviille-Haymarket Club. And a member, Jim Aram, sponsored me, and Jim was affiliated also with our financial organization. So Jim sponsored me. That's how I got in, and I've been there, of course, ever since 2014.
All righty, and shout out to Amelia, who is, you're right, our upcoming district governor-elect. So we put that little plug in for her as well.
Absolutely, dynamic lady.
Yes, she is. Could you tell us a little bit about the Gainseviille-Haymarket Club, the size, when you meet, a little bit about your membership, those kinds of things?
Be glad to. We've got approximately 43 members now. Right now, currently, we meet for 2 morning meetings at the Haymarket Town Hall in Haymarket, Virginia. And then we have 2 lunch meetings also in Haymarket at Giuseppe's Italian Restaurant. They're Wednesday meetings. The lunch meeting is at 12:30, and the early morning meetings are at 7:45 at the town hall. So we have 4 meetings a month, and typically a social in the last week of each month.
So you have, during your regular meetings, do you have a guest speaker? What's the format of your regular meetings?
Most of our meetings have a guest speaker. You know, we have a person in our club, happens to be Jessica Scalf, and she arranges meetings. We've had a very robust group of speakers this year. We've had a few folks from public office to update us on the community. And we've had, of course, numerous nonprofit organizations come to speak to us so you can learn more about them and their missions. And then additionally, sometimes we'll just have someone that has a local business that, you know, like a massage, athletic type massage business that tells us about their services. So and when we don't, quite often, like last week, our speaker fell through, so we just had a meeting to discuss what we're doing right now, many of the projects that we're involved in. It really took up a lot of our meeting time, which was good, in addition to the normal things that we do in a meeting.
That sounds wonderful, to be able to have that club assembly like that, the format where people can talk about various things. In your case, it was the speakers. I think that's very healthy. So that turned out to be a win-win, for you and the club, even though someone had canceled. What's been your favorite speaker?
Oh my gosh, we've had so many. I would say it's probably been someone from one of the nonprofits that's come to speak to us. We've had numerous. There's a big emphasis in our club. We decided strategically about a year ago would be mental health for youth, coming out of the pandemic. We do have a number of members that have students and children that are grade school, middle school, and high school. We identified that as kind of a critical need. So there's one organization, Peyton's Project, run by a father who lost his daughter to suicide. And he has gone on and done remarkable work in the schools to help combat teen suicide, help prevent that. And we've also supported him through some of our fundraising.
Absolutely. That is, I commend you. Mental health for young people it's a huge topic right now across the nation with educators, and I being one, that is one of the top topics that is emerging lately. So thank you in your club for getting involved in that. That's so well needed. Talk to us about maybe some of your other areas of your club functions. Do you guys have a bulletin that you run regularly, or do you have your social media websites that you advertise through so people can see what's going on? How do you handle your social media piece?
Absolutely. Communication is important, and just kind of helping tell our story in the community through socials. We do have a pretty robust club website. We have a Facebook site. We have a weekly bulletin that our club administrator sends out. We have emails that come out to club members with updates outside of the weekly bulletin. And we are pretty extensive users of Sign Up Genius for the various events that we do. And so I think we've got a pretty comprehensive suite of tools for communication with our members, and also, to the public at large.
That's wonderful. I hope all the clubs who see this hear you say Sign Up Genius. I think that tool is amazing. So thank you for sharing that.
Thank you.
How about some community service projects? You mentioned one with mental health in the schools, but what other community service projects is your club involved?
Well, we have co-chairs of our community services committee within our club, and we have ongoing things. I'll mention one of those, and then we try to do something each month. So an example of a monthly event would be, we just on the first Saturday of this month, we went out and did Salvation Army bell ringing at the local Walmart in Haymarket. We make it fun. Club members, we had music, Christmas music playing. We wear kind of whimsical Christmas type outfits. And it's one of my favorite activities that we do because you get to see people from all walks of life and their generosity. It's uplifting, and we just have a blast. But that's one example. We have several coming up. There's a food insecurity organization, Crossroads, that will do it's hands-on. We do a Sign Up Genius for it. And so we have monthly emphasis each month of a hands-on project where our club members can sign up on Sign Up Genius. We have ongoing things. A good example of ongoing, not every month, but throughout the year, is we support a local alternative school for just great young kids that have some challenges around behavior. And it's an excellent school and resource in our community. And we supported them with their Fall Fest their Harvest Fest, their holiday feast. We're doing a pretty extensive angel tree contribution that's in process right now, where we're supporting 1/3 of the students' families. So each student is, they can select a gift they have interest in. So we provide that gift, and then also to their family members if they have any siblings. So I think all told, we probably had just a little shy of about 50 gifts, and we've got them all subscribed. So got them wrapped up and identified, and almost all dropped off at the school. And so Pace West is an ongoing project of ours. And we have one other larger project that perhaps I can speak to a little bit later in the program that we're really tickled to be involved in with two other.
Oh, that sounds wonderful. I'm a little anxious to hear about that project. As president, do you have a particular project that you're going to institute during your tenure?
Well, that's a great question. I would say at this point, something that's absolutely spanking brand new. I probably, I wouldn't say no, I will never say that, but it's probably unlikely, because we're doing a lot of the things that that we've been doing for many years, all wonderful things, and then we're involved in a grant with two other clubs, which is pretty substantial and has taken, it's rightfully taking a lot of our resources, but not taking away from like the other things that I've mentioned in our community service. But it's at a scale where I feel like we've probably taken on what we can handle given the size of our membership and the engagement of our members. And we're blessed to have tremendous talent and skill sets, as well as what I'd call Rotary institutional knowledge among our membership. We really have many past presidents and many Rotary leaders that have been involved in the organization. And quite frankly, that was one of the things that a few years back gave me confidence to say, yes, I'll go ahead and be president for that term, because I knew the strength of the folks in our club.
Ah, that's wonderful. I know Rotary often has a hard time getting people to step up to the presidency. So it's great to hear that your succession plan in your club really is working, as you're learning what to do long before it's your turn to do it, which gives you the confidence to be able to do that. So that's really good to hear. We're going to take a short break and be right back and talk more with President Rich Luttrell. Please stand by.
Possibilities are all around us. We see potential in unexpected places. And when we share our knowledge, vision, and connections, we turn great ideas into action in communities all around the world. Together, we can make real change happen. We're Rotary. We are people of action. Get involved at Rotary.org.
Welcome back to the Rotary Times. We're here talking with Rotarian Rich Luttrell, the president of the Rotary Club of Gainseviille-Haymarket, Virginia, for the 2023-24 Rotary year. President Rich, you really have given us a lot of good feedback about your club and the kinds of things you're doing. Let's now talk about vocational service. Tell us what your club is doing in that area.
Well, thank you. The most recent thing we did was actually last week. We were over at Osborne High School. Osborne High School has a robust career and technical education program. And we went out for the evening, and the students there were driving that program. Just really impressive. And it was all based around financial literacy. And they had information set up about everything you can imagine, credit, banking, insurance, how to do certain things financially, just a real robust program, cyber risk around, what to look for in scams. So the young people are out there providing this information to parents and the community, And through our program, we had a number of Rotarians, not only from our club, but from the Bull Run and the Manassas Club out that evening, and to help support that, and also kind of fly the flag for a grant that we're involved with those two other clubs.
Okay, and you know that's interesting, and I'm glad you're doing that. Literacy is one of the state graduation requirements for students. So it's wonderful to know that we're starting in the middle and the high school teaching young people about being financially literate, because they need that. So
absolutely, as an ex banking and investment career person over 4 decades, I certainly see tremendous value in that.
absolutely, absolutely. Is your club have a interact or club at all?
We do.
Okay.
Thank you for asking. We have 2 high schools, 2 local high schools, and actually, well, we have 2 high schools, Battlefield High School, and well, no, it's Battlefield High School. Then we have Wakefield School, and then we have Ronald Reagan Middle School that with interacts. And we just had a picnic where we invited those students so that they could come and meet us as Rotarians. Their parents were invited if the parents wanted to know what was going on. But we had a picnic at James Long Park in Haymarket this fall. It's our 2nd year doing it. Our former president, our prior president, Don McMillan, implemented that, and we've continued with it. And it's a great way for each school's club members, Interact members, to kind of see what they're doing and meet a face. And we had several Interact members come out to help us with the bell ringing at Walmart for Salvation Army.
That's wonderful. Well, that's our pathway to Rotary, is through our young people. They're our future, so get them involved early. How about international programs? Is your club involved in any of those?
We're involved right now in a grant with several other club members around water in Haiti, and it's moving forward. They've done some significant work there in infrastructure, but it's right now there's a little bit of a delay just due to some internal and political challenges really around certain regions of Haiti, and actually getting those resources there, I think, securely. And so we just had a meeting about a week or so ago about that. We also have a club member who's been very involved in multiple overseas projects, Jill Lehman, and she's actually getting ready to go on it. It's not a Rotary mission, but it's a mission with her religious organization. She's going to Cuba to provide medical supplies to more remote communities. And it's a partnership with a church that's in a rural part of Cuba that has about 300 congregants. And they're providing, medical supplies, over-the-counter medical drugs, and then even some prescription drugs, because they just don't have those resources at all in that region. So that's kind of where we are right now.
Yeah, a lot of Rotary clubs are partnering for the water wells to put in. I mean, that's your infrastructure or whatever you want to do to build a community, is to get those clean water. I mean, that's huge. So you are part of some of those coalitions that we have amongst the districts that are doing that, which is wonderful. And also the medical supplies, yeah. I've
always appreciated Rotary's commitment to make those projects sustainable, to do the best they can to make sure that they're sustainable.
Yes, over time. Tell me about your family. How do they support your involvement in Rotary?
Well, I'm an empty nester,
okay.
and but my wife is, she's employed by the local school system, and she's always very supportive and understanding. And when I was still working, I retired about a year ago, she used to say, "I think you're doing more Rotary things than you are work things." I said, "That's just your perspective. Believe me, I'm doing a lot more professionally work-wise, but I am involved with Rotary, but then I love that." But she's very supportive. Yeah. She, of course, she comes to some of the social events. We have an upcoming holiday party on the 16th of this month, and she gets it.
Yeah.
In,
Well,
in fact, she gave me a great compliment recently because occasionally she's like, "Man, you do so much with Rotary," but she said, "Well, you're kind of a different kind of a guy. That not everybody's interested in the community and involved with the community and maybe cares." And I said, "Well, I'm with a lot of like-minded people in Rotary. I'm not unique."
yeah, and you're absolutely right. Rotarians are about service and giving. And don't feel bad, Rich. I get the same comment from my husband. You're doing more, you work harder at Rotary than you did when you were working. So I get it too.
Love it. It becomes a passion. You get so much back.
Yeah, you do. You really
from being
do.
Givers get.
Yeah. So, service above self. We know that's Rotary's motto. Has that been helpful to you when conducting, your work-life business?
Oh, I believe so. I just think it's a tremendous credo, if that's what you would call it. Helping the world and helping something that's much larger than yourself or any one person, and just improving communities, whether they be in your backyard, across the country, or in another nation, making the world a better place.
Absolutely. Glad to hear you say that. How about the four-way test?
Well, being a Rotarian since 2014 and retiring at the end of 2022, I quite often thought about, is it fair to all concerned? Will it build goodwill? Those matters. I think it's a great guiding principle for anyone in business. And I think that, from my experiences in my career professionally, if you don't have those elements, successful relationships won't continue or flourish unless you have those elements. So I think they're very, very well thought out, and they're very applicable to many relationships, whether it's where you work professionally or, how you do business with others.
Absolutely. How is it fair to all concerned? I think I find myself applying that every other day to something. You're absolutely right.
It's a great principle.
Let's think about our local clubs. And we know one of the missions that the district is on right now is to grow our clubs. Now, you have I guess a relatively nice-sized club of 43 members. What would you recommend that other local clubs could do to grow?
The tact, if you will, the strategy for our club was, and this derived from, I think, what I call a very, astute leader we had in our membership, and our club bought in on it, really embraced it, was our club, like many clubs in Rotary, do a lot of different types of projects, fundraising, and then, we help hands-on, and we provide funding for great organizations. We wanted to solidify and say, hey, we're going to continue to be involved very much in those types of projects, but we wanted to have kind of an overarching mission and passion of our club that we could represent to prospective members in the community, and that's mental health. We decided that we could attract and retain folks and say, hey, here's the various things that we do. There's so many things you can choose to be involved with, but we felt that mental health would be a big draw to our club, and it has worked to a degree.
Oh, well, good to hear. That is very good to hear, because I think when we think about various ideas, when you say mental health, that's a wide range. That could be our young adults. You already talked about it with the young teens and the young adults, retirees. So many people in various communities can identify with the mental health issue. So it is about what that topic or that issue that your club is representing that's going to be a draw. So thank you for sharing that with our audience, because that does mean something. Real quick, because we're getting ready to close, give me 2 words that speaks to your experience in Rotary all these years. 2 words.
2 words, just rewarding.
Okay. That's one.
And I would say relationships,
Oh,
meeting phenomenal, interesting people, meeting
mm,
leaders, meeting I was speaking to a prospective, a potential president for our club, and he was saying, well, what do you get out of it? I said, well, I really enjoy community service, but also if you want to know what's going on in your community, and you want to meet interesting people, get involved in Rotary.
all
And
right.
the deeper you get in, and I think other Rotarians would affirm this, that's a big reward, is the friendships, and just
The
relationships, and meeting
relationships,
very interesting
people.
people, and good folks.
All righty. Well, thank you for sharing, and thank you for sharing your club with us today. We hope you'll come back sometimes and tell us a
My
little bit more. Okay?
Thank
All
you.
righty. For the Rotary Times program, I am your host, Rotarian Dr. Deborah Jackson from the Rotary Club of McLean, Virginia. You're welcome to join us at a Rotary Club in your area, either for breakfast, lunch, dinner, or a service project. You can find us at a club near you just by looking us up on the internet. Many clubs are hosting meetings in person, virtually, or in some hybrid format. You only need to look us up for the details. Remember, our time is your time, and it's time well spent. Please join us for our next program as we continue to celebrate Rotary's 117 years of service above self.